one of you to the 2015 Lake County Rising. This is a movement that is very close to my heart.
My name is Sandra Hart. I serve on the Lake County Board, and I rise for all three of my children, Emily, Katie, and Tommy, and all four of the women and children in Lake County and around the world who suffer from domestic violence and sexual assault.
Good evening. My name is Ray Rose. I'm the Undersheriff of the Lake County Sheriff's Office. I rise for all victims of assault, abuse, neglect, and exploitation, as well as their families. And I live my life to ensure they are cared for and treated respectfully by the criminal justice system.
Good evening, I'm Mike Nerheim, Lake County State's Attorney. I rise to seek justice on behalf of every single person in Lake County, and I am motivated and inspired to do so by the courage that we get from the victims that we work with every day.
I'm Carla Wyckoff, the Lake County Clerk, and I rise to join a revolution of commitment as a mother of a daughter and a son, so our children are kept safe from abuse and taught self-respect and the dignity of human life. And as the Lake County Clerk, so our citizens are encouraged to support the allocation of resources to prevent violent acts against all people through the voice of the vote.
State Senator Melinda Bush, 31st District. This is my Senate district, and I rise tonight for every woman who is so low that she doesn't know that she can rise. So for them, I rise.
Good evening, I'm Nancy Rodering, Mayor of the City of Highland Park. I rise against injustice. I rise for equal wages for women and for affordable child care. I rise for healthy workplace conditions and against sexual harassment, gender discrimination, and poverty. I rise for a fair and safe world, good education for all, and the end of gender abuse.
Good evening. My name is Jeannie Kirby. I'm the clerk for Avon Township. I rise because physical abuse, financial abuse, and sexual abuse is silent, isolating, and invisible. I rise because abuse, manipulation excludes women and girls from our families, our community, and our self-identity. I rise so that every woman and every girl feels supported, trusted, and valued.
Good evening. I'm Janice Bennett. I'm the President and CEO of the YWCA Lake County, and I rise to stand for YWCA Lake County, who yearly serves over 60,000 women and families in Lake County each year since 1922. I rise to support our women who support our families, who support our communities, who support the world. And I rise because women can look domestic violence in the face and survive. We do the things we think we cannot do.
My name is Sherry Neal. I am the Zion Township Supervisor. I rise with the words of Marianne Williamson from A Return to Love, often quoted by Nelson Mandela. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are meant to shine as children do. We were born to manifest the glory of God within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Won't you rise with me?
I'm Sheila Simon, and I rise to get you to do more than just clap. I'm going to get you to sing along. And I want to thank State Senator Melinda Bush for inviting me and my husband Perry up here to join you. What a treat to be here with all of you. So when I say up here, I really mean that, because Perry and I drove up from Carbondale today, which is way down south, 350 miles south, Perry, do you think? Yeah, which is why I have a banjo. This is a banjo. I don't want to scare anyone. But so as a law professor and a banjo player, I've done a lot of thinking about domestic violence. I used to be a domestic battery prosecutor. I've represented a lot of victims, a lot of survivors of domestic violence, and I've thought about the role of culture and how it reflects our attitudes about domestic violence. And so I studied country music and domestic violence and came up with sort of three distinct phases that we've gone through as a country. One is the very creepy old folk songs that come over from England, etc. And in those songs, the women just get it, and it's really not even a plot device. And then there's sort of a different phase where there's a recognition that domestic violence is rotten, but there's also not much you can do about it. And then there's a final phase where a little bit of action is encouraged. So the first one is really easy to sing along with. It's the banks of the Ohio. And I'm sure you'll be able to sing along with it here. I asked my love to take a walk, just a little walk, I can't hear you singing, down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio. All right, you're getting warmed up, I'm liking it. And only say if you'll be mine, and no other's arms entwined, down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio. Here comes the bad part. I held a knife against her breast, as into her arms I pressed. She cried, "Oh Willie, don't murder me, I'm not prepared for eternity." And only say if you be mine, and no other's arms entwined, down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio. I started home between 12 and 1, cried, "My God, what have I done? Killed the only woman I love because she would not be my bride." And only say, sing along, that you be mine, and no other's arms entwined, down beside where the waters flow, down by the banks of the Ohio. All right, there were some people singing along. You did very well. All right, so that's sort of so that's kind of like the old and creepy, and then there's sort of an in-between era, and in that era was when I was a young law student and watched the first domestic battery trial that I ever watched. And that was a year when I had a radio in my car that didn't work at all. So I sang to myself a lot, and that trial turned into a song. And you'll be able to, I'll tell you when the chorus is, you'll be able to sing. And this is like absolutely true. Every part of the evidence that I put into the song is right from the trial. Didn't even change the names because no one was particularly innocent. This is the story of Eunice and Pablo, two lovers living as one. Eunice showed her love with a knife, and Pablo showed his with a gun. Well, Eunice and Pablo were drinking on a Friday afternoon. Eunice said, Pablo, I'm leaving you now, and Pablo said, whoa, not so soon. Well, Eunice and Pablo continue to fight. Eunice insists she must leave. Pablo says, honey, I'll kill you first. Look what I've got in my sleeve. It was a white-handled revolver, loaded and ready to go. He pointed it straight at Eunice's head, and he fired that near-fatal blow. Here's the chorus. She sings, I cannot remember if I was shot in the head, and if I once had a memory, that bullet killed it dead. Well, Eunice, she ducked, and the bullet glanced off. She gave the sheriff a ring. But at Pablo's trial, on the witness stand, she could not remember a thing. The lawyers kept asking her questions, freshen her memory, but she never told them the truth that day. She was trying to keep Pablo free. She sings, I cannot remember if I was shot in the head, and if I once had a memory, that bullet killed it dead. Well, women we love too hard, and women we love too long. And I just hope for the rest of my days that I'll never sing Eunice's song. She sings, I can't remember what my mother told me, can't remember advice of a friend. When they let old Pablo out of that jail, I know that I'll love him again. Because I cannot remember if I was shot in the head, and if I once had a memory, that bullet killed it dead. Yes, if I once had a memory, that bullet killed it dead. Way to go, good for singing along in that one. So then the final phase in American country music that deals with domestic violence is, yeah, that's really wrong, and if the law can't do something about it, you ought to, right? Earl, the Dixie Chicks, but I can't do that without the Dixie Chicks. But we'll sing a little Independence Day by Martina McFaddin, and maybe you've heard this one on the radio and you can sing along. And when you hear me sing this one, you'll know why I don't make a living with singing. So sing loudly and cover me up. Well, she seemed all right by dawn's early light, looked a little worried and weak. Tried to pretend he wasn't drinking again. Daddy left the proof on her cheek. I was only 8 years old that summer, always seemed to be in the way. So I took myself down to the fair in town on Independence Day. Well, word gets around in small town, said he was a dangerous man. Mama was proud and she stood her ground on the losing end. Some folks whisper and some folks talk, everybody looked the other way. Time came out, there was no one about on Independence Day. Let freedom ring, let the white dove sing. Let the whole world know that today is the day of reckoning. Let the weak be strong, let the right be wrong. Roll that stone away, let the guilty pay, it's Independence Day. Well, she lit up the sky that 4th of July, by the time the firemen came. They took down the flames and they took down some names and sent the Duke County home. I ain't saying it's right or it's wrong, maybe it's the only way. Talk about your revolution, it's Independence Day. Let freedom ring, white dove sing. You get that with no light? But anyway, I sing these songs to show you how much domestic violence is literally a part of our culture. Cultural change is hard, and cultural change takes all of us, but cultural change can work and can be permanent, and we can make it, and all of us together, rising up at the right time, can pull it off. So thank you very much.
So, as you've heard, Sheila Simon definitely has a heart for women's rights. We thank her immensely for coming up to be with us today. Sheila has a personal and professional, as well as being our prior Lieutenant Governor, a lifetime of advocacy work on behalf of justice. Her record includes 4 years as the Jackson County prosecutor fighting crime, as she shared a little bit of there, a decade as a law professor teaching young minds, and getting them to participate in the Illinois Reform Commission, which is aimed to restore integrity in our state. In addition to her work in education and ethics reform, Sheila is a strong advocate for women both in word and deed. That's the important part, the deed part. Our rising up just isn't applauding and singing along, as she said. It's actually getting out there and doing the work. So Sheila has helped establish a virtual clinic which provides legal assistance to domestic violence victims statewide via Skype. What an incredible initiative. Nobody is eliminated from this. She also came up with an amazing idea and helped push it through, helped push the legislation through. It's a tax on strip clubs that serve liquor. And all this tax money goes right back to help domestic violence victims. Pretty amazing. Thank you for being with us. So the next
Can see your